Hey guys, in today's video, I would like to talk about geolocation for e-commerce stores. And this is quite an old, topic. It's been covered quite a lot from Googling around. However, I recently was reading a book called JavaScript, The Definitive Guide. And unknowingly, I didn't realize this, but there's actually an API native to the browser, a JavaScript API called the Geolocation API, and it returns the coordinates of the user's location, so the longitude and latitude. And for me, that was quite surprising. I didn't know the browser provided that API because previously I've advised people to use an IP fetching tool, and from using that tool, you can gather, the position of the user who's visiting your website. But there's actually a native way of getting that, which I want to show you today. And I also want to show you a few benefits of using geolocation, which I hope will help and maybe persuade you to use this API or even use an IP fetching tool. So let's get straight into it. So to start off, the benefits of using geolocation for your e-commerce store. Just firstly, it creates a localized experience. All the big stores do it nowadays. Here's Allbirds. They have different, sites for different locations. So when I arrive on the site, it gives me an option to choose between US or UK. I'm based in the UK. So they've obviously fetched my IP address, or even using the geolocation API, they've got my coordinate location, and they've provided me some suggestions for which website I want to go to. And I'm in the UK, so I'm going to click UK. I get redirected to the UK website. So you can kind of localize your content. So if I was to go to, let's say, the Chinese website, all the language will be displayed in Chinese, and there might be some shipping laws or some different taxes applied to different countries, and it's just a way of creating a more localized experience. And I think it's a lot easier than having one website and having a language switcher and a currency switcher, and it can get a bit complicated. So that's the first benefit. The second benefit is, as I just showed you, is you can redirect users to different websites depending on their location. Another website that does this is Lucafloni. I've actually built this feature for them. So here you can change the location. They have two websites, the EU website and the worldwide and UK website. So if I click on, let's say, UK, it will redirect me to the .com website, which is quite similar, but I think there's some currency and language differences. You can also display custom content, so you can display certain content to certain users. Even if you just have one website, you can say like, okay, if user is in China, show this content. If not, show this content. Another thing you could do is you can show the distance of your store. Let's say you're selling, say you have a store and you sell to the public, general public, from that store. You can show the location of the store from where the customer is located. So I'm actually going to show you a quick example of how to do that, because that's the easiest, I think, one to implement. I don't see many stores implementing this. There's possibly a reason, but it's just a quick way of showing you how to use the geolocation API. That's the reason why I chose this example to show you guys. And the last one is delivery in real time. So like Uber, for example, has this feature where as the taxi driver moves, you can see his location on the map. And the native geolocation API also provides this function. So it's called a watch. If I go to here, it's called a watch position. So as the customer or user changes location, there will be a callback function which sends like a signal to your website saying that, okay, the user has changed location now. Now we can update this on the map. I'm not sure how to do this because that's pretty complicated, but maybe in a future video, if anyone's interested, just let me know. Okay, so let's get to the meat of the video, which is the geolocation API. So it's pretty simple to implement, really. It's just in the browser, we have a navigation object. If I show you the console here, oops, some errors. Let's clear this. Oops, clear. Okay, so now we have navigator. As part of the navigator object, we have a geolocation. And now we have a few functions we can use on the geolocation object. So we have the get current position, which is the user's current position, which is what we want. So if I run get current position, and then I will need to pass in a function. So what happens after they get the current position, like a callback function. So I'm gonna, I want just the position. So the position, and inside this object is called, what is this object called? It's called the geolocation position object. It has some coordinates. So in these coordinates is my longitude and latitude. Okay, so then here we have all the information we need to get where I am. So that's all it is. That's how you get the current position. It's very easy. It's free, which compared to IP fetching tools, they cost money. They can be a bit annoying to use because they have usage limits. So this is just a free way to get a user location. Of course, if you want to get like the country they're in or the town they're in, that's when you're probably gonna have to use some API. I'd recommend using Google's API, geolocation API. Very easy to use. You kind of copy and paste this, and if you know how to use JavaScript, you can easily configure this to display a map and display your position on the map or user's position on the map. And it's not a hard thing to implement at all. So let me show you an example of this. So on my website, hassanarmstrong.com, I have written a script. So let me show you the script right here. So here we have the geolocation object, and we want to get the current position. And then when we get the current position, we want to run this function which redirects the user to Google Maps of their where they are, their position, and it's going to show the route from their position to Liverpool. I don't know why I chose Liverpool. I just went with Liverpool, even though I do actually support the football club, so maybe there's some connection there. So when you click on this now, it's going to redirect you to a Google Maps of your location to Liverpool. So this is my address where I live, and this would be the route to Liverpool. So you could kind of implement this for your let's say you have a store. You could tell the user, okay, this is the route from your location to the store, and this is it's not like an amazing feature. I mean, it's very elementary, and anyone could just go type in Google, your store and do this. Also, it's not a big deal. But the power really comes, I think, in displaying different content and localizing the website for a specific user. That's the real power. I mean, what I just demonstrated to you is just an example of using the API. It's not meant to be a feature that you should use, although you could, I guess, if you really wanted to. But it's not going to increase your conversion by like 10%, So I wouldn't pay so much attention to it. So yeah, you could even play around even further. You could have like a delivery icon here, like a car or something, and then as the car gets closer to the delivery location, as it moves, you'll see the change on the map. That's not hard to implement either. I might create a video on that. Just give me a shout if you want me to do that. And I think that's it for today's video. It's a short one. I know I haven't had much time this week. Thank you for listening. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any videos you want me to make or anything. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.